Hello all, and welcome to today's beer review, which I am dubbing the... I really suck at... I'm a bad gamer, because I'm terrible at playing games, which is why I don't know why I spend so much time playing them. I just keep... On the easiest level, I keep on getting curb stomped in colonization. Either I fail to get enough Liberty Bells to declare independence, or I declare independence and I get curb stomped. Either immediately or after a fairly long battle, and it's just kind of shameful because I am literally playing on the easiest level. Get good or go home, I suppose. So, what are we reviewing today? This is Spaten Oktoberfest. I reviewed this once a very long time ago, back when I still lived in two places ago, I suppose, yeah. And I don't recall what I reviewed it as, and I might go back and check it, who knows, same as the other one. This one is, of course, one of the originals. You can see here, made in Munich, since 1397. 1397. I might need glasses soon. This is 5.9 ABV, and as you can see, it is in a green bottle, which is a cause of controversy, because as you know, green bottles do not prevent light from getting through and causing the beer to oxidize if it's being exposed to light, as most beers are in the United States. Still, should be interesting enough to go and see, since I now know beers a lot better than I did years ago. It'd be interesting to see, well, how much I notice it. And let's go and see here. 05/2022. That's quite some time that they say it's still good for. Okay. So, let's go and pour this one out, shall we? So, oops, and dripped a little bit on me. So, a nice amber to red, amber, brown, in between red and amber, brown, clear, nicely carbonated, with a thick, fluffy off-white head. Redolent of honeyed wheat, or honeyed barley, I suppose. Well, honeyed grains, I should say, since this is not a wheat beer. Brown bread. Fairly sweet, so I would actually say on my rating scale of, from crackery dry to biscuity, this is definitely biscuity, though the smell itself smells more of brown bread. Not much in the way of hop presence in the nose here. Maybe just the most slightest hint of florals. Well, onto the palate now, shall we? Only very mildly oxidized. You can kind of tell it in the finish. Just that slightest hint of skunkiness. And not sort of hop skunkiness, oxidization skunk. But it's very slight, almost imperceptible. This beer has been stored well in a nice dark place. Bread in the front, bread in the mids. Coming slightly more honeyed in the finish, as well as also having just the briefest appearance of hop bitterness on the palate. More or less completely clears. There's a slight, very slight sweetness that lingers, and a sort of graininess in the top note. And underneath that graininess, just that slight smell of oxidization. Not overly complex. I was expecting, that maltiness to pop a little bit more in the mid to finish, which it is not really doing, but it's perfectly drinkable. As it warms up, both the hop bitterness in the finish and skunkiness are kind of increasing. I apologize for the noise. She's or something. It shouldn't cause any problem with you guys being able to hear me, though. Now, I guess I've kind of run out of things to say on this one. I'm mildly disappointed, not in the fact that, this is a disappointing beer, but I was just kind of expecting a bit more wow from something that's basically the OG of the Marzens, the Ur-Marzen, as it were here, the Ur-Marzen. And it doesn't come off as a father of Marzens, it kind of comes off as like, well, here's a Marzen for you. Again, nothing offensive about it. I just wish that the taste would pop more on the palate. It's certainly there in the nose, but it's just not the maltiness is just not as intense as I've had from some other beers. Some other Marzens, I should say, to clarify. Which is odd because the mouthfeel seems a bit thicker than some of the others, yet the intensity of taste is a bit less. Well, I've kind of run out of things to say about this particular beer. For now, anyway, like I said, I'm gonna be doing like a grand vertical in which I drink probably about 4 beers at once, which is about my max, more or less. Luckily, Marzens are not too heavy. If I drank like 4 Imperial IPAs side by side, I would be suffering. It would be regrettable. in a multitude of ways, to say the least. Well, folks, that is your beer review for today. Month of Marzens continues. Oktoberfest, March and October, inextricably linked in my mind, continues on into next week, and then something else entirely different, something completely different. Prost.